one of the main reasons I grabbed this recipe card is to show you my mother's handwriting and her misspelled last name, Hanseon. Yeah, I don't know why she didn't throw them away and get new ones, but she was a product of the Depression. Anyway, I fondly remember my mother making maybe about 24 different types of Christmas cookies. And she would very carefully put them on plates, and my dad would very grumbly deliver them to all the people in town. And he kind of liked doing that because most of the people in town he delivered to him would give him a shot of bourbon. So that wasn't all that unpleasant for my dad. But anyway, this Dromar recipe is just an example of her handwriting and the love that she put into every cookie she baked. At the top of this card, written in green ink, is the name The Kind Mary Jo Likes. Now, Mary Jo was one of my best friends in college and for many, many years afterwards. And she loved going up to Glasgow from college and visiting my mother and dad. And mother, of course, would always bake cookies. And so the recipe for chocolate drop cookies is really about Mary Jo and the joy she brought into our lives. And they are delicious cookies. You'll see that the first ingredient is 1 cup of shortening. And my mother used part butter or all butter. That's pretty rich, Mom. And then 4 squares of unsweetened chocolate. It's been a long time since I've made these, but going through these gave me encouragement to do that. This makes 6 cookies. You have to blend, you have to sift, you have to put something in about 3 different bowls. You add the nuts. It's really a lesson in chemistry and how to get all this stuff put together, including the frosting, which includes cocoa, butter, milk, vanilla, powdered sugar. That was always the hardest part of it, to get the frosting to look good. And this is my favorite. She always doubled the batch. So this is really a Danish recipe. I don't know who Jessie is, but I'm sure glad she handed this down. And ever since for the last 60 years, Christmas is not Christmas until I make Jessie's sand tarts. And the real key to baking these is that you have to roll them out real thin, and then you have to watch so they don't burn, because they cook up really fast, but they're delicious. And I can remember members of my family always dunking one of Jessie's sand tarts into their coffee. Rhubarb pie. Beth Roach's recipe. Beth Roach was my mother's best friend. And when my mother died, my father, Leslie Hansen, invited her to come and share his home with him and help raise my sister, Gretchen. So that's the context. Beth was very important in my life and the life of my family. And this rhubarb pie, every time I make it, I fondly remember her and all the love she gave to so many. And on the back of this card, it's interesting that I just noticed that the recipe was shared by a woman that we called Auntie Lou Merson. Now, Lou Merson was the wife of Frank Merson, who was my father's dealership partner, Frank Merson. So it was Hansen Merson Motors. And Lou was a wonderful gardener. She was a very particular, neat woman and a really good friend of my family's also. But this rhubarb pie recipe has been well used. Now, this is my handwriting, and it kind of goes along with the what we've talked about when you cook, fry up your carrots, celery, a little bit of onion, green pepper in a frying pan. It calls people to dinner. You can get that smell. It goes all over the house. And this one is just a regular casserole. Um, Can of mushrooms. If I have them around, I use the fresh. But it's one of those almost, I would say, a depression recipe because it'll last for several days. And of course, the price of hamburger's gone up, but it's still can serve a crowd with leftovers. And this is from my mother's recipe box.